The worst enemy of Tinubu right now, the worst enemy of Tinubu, particularly concerning this whole end bad governance protest, are his advisors. It's unfortunate that Tinubu doesn't know it. And if anybody loves him, those around him should let him get this information. His worst enemies, they are not the protesters, they are the advisors. And if we consider the way the IMF and the World Bank operate, I am convinced within me that the IMF and the World Bank have infiltrated his advisors and they have put their agents there to give Tinubu wrong advice. Because I don't understand the behavior that I am seeing from Tinubu right now, particularly with respect to his address to the protesters or to the nation. It's not the Tinubu that we used to know. The Tinubu that we used to know is a Tinubu that would have called these protesters before the protest even began. Come on, for crying out loud. They gave over a month's notice. Over a month's notice, something that even me, I'm not comfortable with. I believe that protests are supposed to be spontaneous. That's the only way they can be effective. But these protesters gave over a month's notice. And typical Tinubu would have called them to a meeting, would have tried to, do what he does. But he didn't do any of this. Rather, he's choosing the path that I'm sure his advisors gave to him, a path that is leading to the aggravation of the situation. Why will a Tinubu think that he, who is a proponent of protest, who has led protests in the time past, how would he think that the best way to handle this thing is to suppress the protest? Now they are coming out to say that, he has instructed the security agencies to enforce law and order. The protesters are looting. Excuse me. I can tell you firsthand that the people who are looting, they're not the protesters. Let nobody make any mistake to think that the protesters in Kano, in Gombe, that were looting are protesters. They are not. From what I experienced in Abuja, I can tell you for free that the people who are looting are the agents that are sponsored by people from government, or the people who want to destabilize the country, who will not be far from being agents of the IMF and the World Bank. They will not be far. So coming to say that you are using the route of suppression and oppression, silencing protesters, that is very untypical of Tinubu, and I am suspecting that some agents of the IMF have infiltrated his inner supporters and are giving him wrong advice. They are giving him wrong advice. What would it have cost Tinubu to invite the protesters and say, okay, we have heard you. These are your demands. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. This is what we will do to tackle it. What will it take from Tinubu to do that? Absolutely nothing. That is what a typical Tinubu would have done. But he's not doing it. Why? Has anybody cared to ask this question? All the fingers point at his advisors. The way the people that are close to him are advising him to handle this protest is very, very wrong. Tinubu, president of Nigeria, if you don't know, it is not the protesters that are being violent. It is the security operatives that are activating violence, shooting at innocent protesters unprovoked. And where you have violence, the police are aware that there are hoodlums that have been employed by agents of government to come and disrupt peaceful protesters, attack them, and the police actually do nothing. This was evident in Abuja, evident at the stadium in Abuja. So this approach is purely counterproductive. I am concerned that the enemies of Nigeria might hijack this protest to cause breakdown of law and order, to destabilize the country, so that they will achieve their aim, which is one of two things as far as I'm concerned. But it's unfortunate that it is the advice that is given to Tinubu and his action, his instruction to the security operatives, agencies, that is now responsible for the breakdown of law and order. I don't know if your administration, President Tinubu, wants to shoot itself in the foot. But whatever it chooses to do is well within your prerogative. But what I don't want is a situation whereby the lives of Nigerian citizens are lost needlessly. it is not too late to take a U-turn. Address the demands of these people. Address it. Just address it. It's supposed to be a protest for 10 days. Personally, if you ask me, I would say that the protest is successful already. The goal has been achieved and the protest should be called off. But you are not helping matters with the way you are handling it, with the comments that are coming. Look at it. The Minister of Information went on Al Jazeera and lied on international scene. The governor of Ogun State came on national TV and was lying to Shehu Okinbaloye, all in a bid to suppress and oppress the protesters, to give a dog a bad name so you can hang it. It will not work.
I think, hello everyone, you just watched that very detailed explanation. I saw it on Dele Mohammed. I saw the video was shared by Dele Momodu of this particular citizen who explained, you know, what ordinarily leadership should be all about. Because as a leader, you're supposed to have people who are like your advisors and all of that. But I think one of the things for me, like I always say, is that when people show you who they are, believe them. We should stop making excuses for people. Tinubu has shown his arrogance over the years, over time. And this is someone who, you know, when you get to a place where you're so much like a kingmaker in the sense that you bring in people and they must never be above you. They must never aspire. They must never have any goals, ambition beyond what you've given them. You've seen repeatedly how Tinubu has punished people who have dared to be something other than what he wanted them to be. So you see the way, you know, everybody has to be down. So who is going to advise who? Tinubu doesn't look like the kind of person that is waiting for anybody to advise him. Tinubu is one who looks like the kind of person who believes he knows what he's doing and he's the only one who is right, and you dare not even come because they're giving you crumbs. How dare you think that you can now you know, be advising those who are eating the bread or be at the same level or whatever. And I think to an extent, again, sometimes we tend to blame advisors. We start blaming the people who brought in the advisors. People bring in the kind of people that we give them the kind of advice that they want. It's not the other way around. Yes, I know when they say, oh, advisors are supposed to first of all, you need to be able to get in advisors that are going to tell you whether the truth or advise you the right way. But if you bring in advisors who are going to be psychophants to you, then you cannot turn around and begin to blame those advisors who are being psychophants to you when you brought them to do exactly that. So these are some of the things. And then for me also, I find this thing when we're always focused on, oh, there are some external bodies that are trying to destroy Nigeria. I'm not saying that it might not be factual, it might be factual or not factual. That for me is not it's not even the main issue. But before we focus on external bodies and external either threats or external whatever, have we focused on the internal ones? Have we focused on the fact that we as Nigerians are the ones who are sabotaging Nigerians? Have we taken care of that? Have we talked about the fact that there are internally there are people who are sabotaging the country? There are people who are looting the country, stealing the country dry, not giving good governance and all of that. Hausa people have been saying that it's when the wall cracks that a lizard can find its way inside. As long as the wall is not cracked, that the lizard cannot find its way inside. And so instead of us always having this focus that we do on external forces and oh, people are coming in to plan this, what is it that we have done in our way? And I think if you look at even during the election, during the campaign, the arrogance that Tinubu exhibited, the sense of entitlement, the sense of ownership, the sense of, you know, nobody can tell me anything that he exhibited. How on earth is anybody thinking that there are advisors somewhere that are supposed to advise Tinubu in a way that Tinubu is going to listen? Oh man, that day you go lose that job, Papa. Because the guy, he didn't put you there to advise him. He knows why he put you there. And they are doing what they are being told to do. So for me, I might be wrong. I might be extremely wrong. But personally, I think the advisors are doing exactly what Tinubu wants them to do. And when he talked about the fact that Tinubu is someone who has done protests a lot, for him to think that he will clamp on protests by doing so, because he has, and this also the thing, Tinubu, because he has done so much protest over time. And I don't know whether he has sponsored protests. I'm not aware of that. Probably he has. So he will feel that he knows everything about protest. He will feel that he has an understanding. After all, he is the father of protests. You understand? And so whenever you always get to that part, no, because one thing in life is that don't always get to the part where you think you know everything or you know it. Always come to the father. I really don't know what's going on. I want to learn. That's the best attitude to take. But when you take this attitude of, oh, I know it, I know this, that, it's only a matter of time. According, they will say hubris, right? Hubris, it will be all hubris, or hubris to get into it and whatever, and somebody begins to do anyhow. That's why you see some people in certain positions like, I thought this person would know better. But the thing is that even the person actually thought they know better, instead of having the mindset of learning and finding out better, they got to a place where they were thinking they knew it more, they knew it better, they knew everything, and that sort of like, derailed everything. It's one of those crazy things that does happen, and unfortunately, a lot of people just miss it by that way. But in the case of Tinubu, hey, he's doing what he wants to do. He knows exactly what he's doing. People really don't matter. After all, Nigeria has 220, over 200 million people. So as far as Tinubu is concerned, even if it's 20 million that are killed, it's just less than 10%. What's that 10% anyway? They are collateral. Somebody during NSAS, people have forgotten, during NSAS, Tinubu asked and he said, what even the NSAS protesters have questions to answer. What were they doing? They were killed at Lekki toll gate. And you think that because of this killing that is happening, you people have forgotten, because of this killing that it's not Tinubu, it's not Ariel, it's not, they're advising him wrongly. Nobody is advising Tinubu wrongly. Tinubu is doing what Tinubu wants to do.